Chapter 1. Why Successful People Read Books. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you today. Have you ever heard the quote, "Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body"? This quote is very important. It tells us that reading helps our brain grow strong, just like exercise helps our body. Let's explore why successful people read books. First, let me tell you a little story. I had a friend named Henry. Henry always wanted to be successful. He started reading books every day. At first, he found it hard. The words seemed difficult. But he kept trying. Every day he read a little bit more. Slowly, he became better and better. One reason successful people read is to learn. Books are full of ideas and knowledge. When you read, you open your mind. You can understand new things. For example, when Henry read a book about business, he learned how to start a small shop. That book helped him a lot. Another reason is that reading helps with imagination. When you read stories, your mind creates pictures. You can see the characters and places. Henry enjoyed stories about adventure. He dreamed of traveling to new countries. This dream pushed him to work harder in his life. Reading also helps to improve vocabulary. Vocabulary is the collection of words we know. Successful people use interesting words. The more you read, the more words you learn. The more words you know, the better you can communicate. Henry practiced new words each day. Soon, he could speak more clearly. Books also provide inspiration. Sometimes we all feel down. We think we can't reach our goals. But when we read about successful people, it boosts our confidence. For example, Henry read a book about a famous entrepreneur named Elon Musk. He felt inspired by Musk's story. It made him believe he could do great things too. Reading makes us better thinkers. We learn to think critically when we read. Critical thinking means we can understand problems and make good decisions. Think about it. When Henry read about different ideas, he started to ask questions. Why did the character make that choice? What would I do? This skill helps in everyday life and work. Let's not forget about relaxation. After a long day, a good book can help us relax. It takes our mind off problems. When Henry wanted to unwind, he would pick up a book. He felt calm and peaceful. This time helped him return to work with fresh energy. As we learn to read, let's remember that every little step counts. In this channel, we often talk about moving one step at a time. Just like Henry, we should not give up. Day by day, we can improve our English. Little by little, we can become fluent speakers. If you enjoy reading, you might consider keeping a notebook. Write down new words you find or interesting ideas from the book. It helps you remember. This habit made a big difference for Henry. Sometimes we may feel it is hard to find time to read, but we can start with just 10 minutes a day. That's not a lot. Imagine reading even a few pages. It adds up over time. Before you know it, you will finish a whole book. Reading together with friends can also be fun. I remember Henry and I would read the same book and talk about it. We shared our thoughts and ideas. This made our friendship stronger. It also helped both of us learn more. If there is a specific topic you enjoy, try to find books about it. Henry loved technology, so he read many books about it. You can find books on any subject. Whether you like animals, sports, or history, there is something for everyone. Don't worry if you struggle at first. Learning a new language takes time. Remember, Henry did not start as a great reader. He improved every day. He learned from his mistakes. You will too. Every time you read a book, you open a door to new worlds. These new worlds can inspire and teach you, just like it did for Henry. Think about where you want to go in your English learning journey. When you finish a book, think about what you learned. Can you share that with someone? Talking about what you read can deepen your understanding. Discussing your thoughts helps others too. As you read, think about the message of the book. What did the author want to say? Understanding the message helps you connect better with the story. This connection is important when learning English. So remember, successful people read books because they want to learn, grow, and find inspiration. Every book is a chance to become better at English. Never be afraid to start small. If you find a good book, comment below about it. Share your thoughts with others. You might inspire someone else to read too. Think about how far you can go with each page you read. Every sentence adds to your knowledge. Slowly, step by step, you will improve. Don't wait. Start reading today. Who will you be tomorrow with all the knowledge you gain? Let's make the journey exciting together. Chapter 2. Why listening boosts your knowledge. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here today. Have you ever heard the quote, "Listening is the key to understanding"? This quote is very important. It reminds us that listening is not just hearing, but really paying attention. Let's talk about why listening boosts our knowledge. First, let me share a story about my friend, Sarah. Sarah always loved to learn. One day, she decided to join a class about art. The teacher spoke a lot during the class. At first, Sarah found it hard to stay focused. But then she realized that if she listened carefully, she could learn so much more. Listening helps us gather information. When we listen, we open our minds to new ideas. Think about a time when you listened to a friend share exciting news. Did you learn something new from them? Sarah listened closely when her teacher talked about different painting techniques. This helped her improve her skills faster than if she just read about it. When we listen to others, we hear their experiences. These experiences can teach us lessons we didn't know before. For instance, during class, Sarah found out that one student had traveled to many art museums. By listening to that student, Sarah learned about famous artists and their works. This knowledge inspired her creativity. Another reason listening boosts knowledge is that it encourages respect. When we listen to someone speak, we show them that we care about what they have to say. Sarah always waited for her teacher to finish talking. She knew that interrupting meant losing important information. By being patient and attentive, she gained the trust of her teacher and classmates. Listening also helps us build critical thinking skills. We learn to analyze what someone is saying. When Sarah listened to students sharing projects, she thought about their ideas. Sometimes she disagreed, and that was okay. She learned to express her thoughts clearly after understanding their points of view. There's a great saying, "You have 2 ears and 1 mouth." This means we should listen more than we speak. When Sarah remembered this, she became a better learner. The more she listened, the more knowledge she gained. It's like filling a treasure chest with shiny gems. Each gem is a new piece of information. One secret to good listening is patience. Sometimes we might want to jump in and share our thoughts right away. But when we wait until the other person is done speaking, we get the full picture. Sarah realized that when she interrupted, she missed important details. By practicing patience, she became an excellent listener. Let's think about a time when you felt interrupted during a conversation. How did that make you feel? It can be frustrating, right? When we interrupt others, we don't hear their full message. They might have valuable information that we miss. Sarah learned this lesson early on. Now, she always waits for her turn to share her thoughts. Another wonderful thing about listening is that it builds connections. When we listen to others, we create bonds. People feel valued when we pay attention to them. Sarah made many friends in class because she listened to their ideas. They often shared knowledge, and together, they learned more. Listening also opens doors to new opportunities. When we listen to others, we hear about events, workshops, and even job openings. Sarah once learned about a local art fair just by listening to a conversation. She attended and showcased her work there. It was a great moment in her art journey. When you are in a conversation, focus on the other person's words. Try to picture what they are saying in your mind. This helps you understand better. Sarah often visualized stories her classmates told. It made the information stick in her memory. You can also take notes while listening. If you are in a class or meeting, jot down important points. This will help you remember later. Sarah used to keep a small notebook for important lessons. It was a simple trick that boosted her learning. As you practice listening, be aware of your body language too. Make eye contact and nod your head. This shows the speaker you are engaged. Sarah did this, and it made her classmates feel encouraged to share more. Do you want to improve your listening skills? Try this. During conversations with your friends or family, resist the urge to interrupt. When they finish speaking, take a moment to think before you respond. This will help you reply thoughtfully. Listening isn't only important in school or class, it's important every day. Whether at work, home, or in social settings, good listening can shape our relationships, just like it did for Sarah, who became close to her classmates. As we learn new things, always remember that listening adds to our knowledge. Every conversation is an opportunity to grow. When we listen, we open ourselves to new discoveries. I encourage you to practice these skills every day. Is there someone you can talk to today? Maybe a friend, family member, or classmate? Try to listen carefully and see how it feels. Remember, the more you practice, the better you will get. If you have thoughts about how listening has helped you learn, comment below. Sharing your experiences can inspire others too. Each listening moment is a chance to gain wisdom. So let's keep listening and growing together step by step. Chapter 3. Why Shadowing is the Game Changer. Shadowing is a simple but powerful way to improve your English. It's not magic, but it can feel like it when you practice it often. But what is shadowing, and why does it work so well? Let me explain. Shadowing is a method where you listen to someone speak English and repeat what they say right away. You try to copy their words, tone, and speed as closely as you can. It's like being their shadow, following everything they do. This practice helps in many ways. It improves your pronunciation, makes your listening skills better, and helps you speak more smoothly. It also trains your mind to think in English, so you don't pause as much when you talk. To make it more relatable, here's a story about one of my students who used shadowing to transform into a confident English speaker. First, let's imagine something simple. Think of yourself walking behind someone on a sunny day. Your shadow moves exactly like you, step by step, without delay. Shadowing in English learning is a bit like this, but instead of copying footsteps, you copy words, sounds, and rhythm. You listen to someone speaking English, and you repeat their words right after them. You don't wait too long. You try to speak immediately, like you are their shadow. Let me tell you about Benjamin. He was one of my favorite students. When he started his English journey, he was shy and quiet. He wanted to speak English, but he was afraid. "What if I say the wrong words?" he often asked me. I told him, "It's okay to make mistakes at first. The more you practice, the more confident you feel. Try shadowing. It will help you sound more natural." At first, he didn't understand how shadowing could help. He asked, "How can copying someone improve my English?" So I explained it step by step. The first thing about shadowing is simple. You listen. I told Benjamin to pick short videos or speeches in English. He started with motivational talks, as they were slow and clear. The type of content you choose doesn't matter much, but it should make you excited to listen. I encouraged him to pick his favorite English speakers. Enjoy what you're listening to, I said. The more you listen, the clearer it gets. Next, I told him to focus on repeating, even if it felt difficult. At first, he struggled to keep up. He would pause the video because he couldn't match it exactly. I smiled and told him, "That's normal, Benjamin. Don't stop yourself too much. The important thing is to try." Every time he repeated what he heard, I could see his confidence slowly growing. His voice became louder and more certain. One day, Benjamin came to class with a big smile. "Teacher, I shadowed Steve Jobs' speech for 3 days," he said. I laughed and asked him to share what he learned. He stood up nervously but began to speak, using some of the same expressions and pauses he had heard. It was amazing. His flow was better, and he sounded more natural. He was no longer just saying words, he was using rhythm, tone, and emotion. "The more you shadow, the stronger your fluency becomes," I told him proudly. Shadowing helps you in ways you don't always notice. It's not just about pronunciation. It trains your brain and your mouth to work together. It's like teaching your brain to think in English, little by little. When you shadow, you also pick up new phrases. You learn which words are stressed and how sentences rise and fall. This is how you master the melody of English, which is so important for sounding natural. Benjamin told me, "Before shadowing, I felt like I was reading from a textbook, but now I feel alive when I speak." Here's another special thing Benjamin did. After shadowing, he started recording himself. He said, "I want to compare how I sound now to how I sounded before." I encouraged him to do this more often. The more you learn, the more capable you become, I reminded him. By listening to his recordings, he noticed his mistakes but also saw how much he had improved. Recording yourself helps you celebrate small victories, even if your progress feels slow sometimes. And guess what? Shadowing doesn't need a lot of time. I told Benjamin to practice for just 10 minutes daily. We all have 10 minutes. You can do it while walking, cooking, or sitting in the park. It's easy to fit into your routine. If you make it a habit, you will see the difference. Benjamin told me, "Every day I practice, I feel like I'm replacing bad habits in my speech with good ones. Now I want you to imagine something. Let's say you shadow for a whole week. By the end of the week, those difficult sounds won't feel as hard. You will learn to copy not just words, but complete sentences, connecting them smoothly. The more you speak, the more confident you feel, I often say. And shadowing is one way to keep practicing your speaking skills daily. Many students, like Benjamin, worry when they start. They ask me, "What if I don't understand everything?" I always tell them, it's okay not to understand every word. Your ears and mind are still learning. Focus more on repeating what you hear. Slowly but surely, your brain will start recognizing the meaning behind those words. Shadowing also improves your listening skills. You begin to hear small details, like how native speakers link words or shorten them. This is important because everyday English is fast and sometimes unclear. Let me give you an example. Many native speakers say, "What are you doing?" instead of, "What are you doing?" If you practice shadowing, you'll catch these things more easily. The more you listen, the clearer it gets, right? Now let's talk about emotion. In English, emotion and tone are key. I always tell students, the way you say something is as important as the words you use. Benjamin learned this well by shadowing passionate speakers. When you shadow someone speaking with energy, you'll naturally copy their excitement. It's like borrowing their confidence for a little while. Over time, that confidence becomes yours. If you're worried about your accent, shadowing can help with that too. Don't be afraid to try different types of English, like British, American, or Australian accents. You don't have to sound perfect, but shadowing will bring you closer to clarity. The more you do it, the more natural your accent will become. Remember, the more you focus, the faster you improve. Benjamin wasn't perfect right away. Sometimes he mumbled or skipped words, but he didn't stop practicing. It's not about being perfect, I told him. It's about making progress and feeling good about your effort. After 3 months of shadowing, Benjamin surprised himself. He told me, "I had a conversation with a tourist at the museum, and I didn't feel scared." Moments like these show how far you can go with patience and commitment. If you feel shy about speaking English, shadowing can be your small personal practice. You don't need an audience. You can do it alone, in your room, or even in the bathroom mirror. I promise you, the more you shadow, the more confident you will feel about speaking in front of others. Start where you are, with what you have. So, will you try shadowing today? Pick a video or an audio clip. You can even use your favorite movie lines. Listen closely and copy. Do this every day and don't give up. Imagine how much your English can grow in just a few months. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. I believe in you, and I know you will make great progress. If you want, comment below and share how shadowing is helping you, or let me know what's hard for you at the beginning. Little steps are okay. As Benjamin learned, one word at a time and one day at a time can lead to big results. Keep going, my friends.